fellow speakers, as well as panel members, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. As indicated, my name is Tsepiso Taoana-Mashiloane from SAMSA Acting CEO, and then actually from the Department of Transport. I am today to unpack the task for today, the theme of the day, as well as briefly talk about our role as the maritime regulator, the SAMSA perspective in relation to the theme. I am honored to be provided this opportunity to address all of you, and on the important day on the maritime transport calendar. We are soon going into the October Transport Month, and I think I will try to do justice to the unpacking of the theme. The World Maritime Day came about on the first time on the 17th of March, 1978, to mark the 20th anniversary of the International Maritime Organization entry into force. That was way back in 1958. We have advanced since then, and then we are today in the celebrating as the South African, the World Maritime Day 2020, the theme. We are a maritime nation as South Africa. We are part of the IMO fraternity of stakeholders. And then from the original 21 member state back way in 1958, the IMO has grown to 167 member states, and then it incorporates all the major nations who are involved in the maritime industry. On this day, which is now commemorated globally on the 30th of September, the world celebrates the immense contribution that the maritime industry makes towards facilitating, sustaining, and growing the global economy. Without the international transportation of goods and people, which is enabled by those in the maritime industry, the world's economy would be unable to function effectively and efficiently. This fact is often discounted by many of us. With the World Maritime Day being organized annually and then being celebrated globally, it is about promoting awareness of the maritime transport sector contribution to the global economies and logistics value chain, and to underline the importance of maritime safety, maritime security, as well as marine environment protection. When it comes to the brief overview of the maritime transport environment, according to the World Bank, in 2020, the global gross domestic product, our GDP, the GDP of the world, it amounted to about 84.5 trillion US dollars. And then it is expected to expand to about 5.6% in 2021. And then that is the fastest post-recession pace in 8 years, we are told. And then it is going to be largely backed by the strong rebounds from a few major economies. The global economy is projected to grow to by a further 4.9% in 2022, and then that is largely based on is going to be based on the premise on the shipping fraternity. For the record, for just over 90% of all goods as well as energy supplies to all 193 countries of the world, those are transported by thousands of ships as well as various sizes and shapes, and then those are traversing our various and different waters. As indicated by the minister, we have got about 3 types of sea around South Africa. I would like to share with you from the maritime, from our perspective as a maritime safety authority, that we are having on board each of those ships seafarers. They are old and young women, and then they are estimated at about 1.7 million, of which 777,000 of them are officers, 874 of them are ratings. In the words of Thomas Jefferson, I quote, "There is nothing more unequal than the equal treatment of unequal people," close quote. When it comes to the South African seafarers composition, as I've indicated, we have got about 1.7 of those seafarers. We only have about 10,671 of those seafarers as South African seafarers on our seafarer registry. And then we are, as SAMSA, we are custodians of that seafarer registry. It is less than 1% of that seafarers composition around the world. And then, as I've indicated, the unequal treatment of unequal people. I just wanted to show you, ladies and gentlemen, today that of that 10,000 that we have, which is about 0.65%, 9,887 of them are males, and then only 784 of them are females. And then that leaves a lot to be desired. The numbers tell a different story. As Brian Levy puts it in his book, A Short History of Seafaring, the sea has challenged, has rewarded, and punished the brave sailors who set forth to explore it. Whether they live to tell the story, that is another story. I close the quote. Today, those seafarers, they man more than 56,000 ships globally, with about 9% of them on the passenger ships, and then the rest on the cargo vessels. And then it is about different types and sizes. We have seen them along our coastlines, big, and then also some of them small. Even long before the outbreak of the COVID-19, which had led to the national lockdown across the world, and then it has rendered most of the seafarers virtually stranded at sea. You can imagine working alongside water and not seeing land for about 90 days. That is unprecedented. And then they were unable to change the shifts. They were unable to take the breaks. They worked for long hours. And that is the battles that have been raging. There's a whole range of challenges to the seafarers. It does not start now with COVID-19, but then it was made worse during this pandemic time. And then it is worth noting that this profession of the seafaring, it dates back about 5,000 years in history. And we go on to say that we are celebrating the IMO World Maritime 2021 under the theme, Seafarers at the Core of Shipping's Future. It is evident in the theme that the focus on an increased and sustained awareness of the very invaluable work that is being done by our seafarers, that is for them to keep the international trade and the global economy afloat. We have got all the luxuries that we have as citizens of the world because of the seafarers. Goods move from China to South Africa and then around the world because of our seafarers. And then it is on account of the COVID-19 pandemic that the many lives and livelihoods continue to be ravaged globally and then presenting devastating challenges to our seafarers. Some of these challenges include international travel restrictions. It has been alluded to by the previous speakers. It is about lack of shore leave. It is about not being able to change or then sign off from their respective ship or sign in. And then that brings a lot of challenges in terms of them not being able to earn a living. You can imagine no work, no pay, and then what does it mean to those people who are at home expecting that salary to come in? And then lately, the lack of access to the COVID-19 vaccination poses a challenge to them. We are working on it as South Africans, and then we do believe that it will be something that will be resolved by other member states as it has been alluded to. Consequently, the World Maritime theme for 2021 is dedicated to seafarers. It is about highlighting their central role in the future of shipping. It is also befitting that the IMO has made a clarion call for all of us in this year of 2021 to be a year of action for seafarers. It can be action in many ways for us. And then those seafarers who daily face unprecedented adversity due to the COVID-19 pandemic, despite being them declared as essential workers or key workers. And then that is the work that all member states are supposed to be doing and then taking action on that one to curb the unprecedented humanitarian crisis, it was said by the Secretary General. Furthermore, the 2021 theme endeavors to increase the visibility of our seafarers, drawing attention to the invaluable role they play now, and then that they will continue to play in the future. In terms of the update from our side as the maritime regulator, we are saying that earlier this year as South Africa, we joined most of the countries, the nations who made it, who deemed it fit to ratify the resolution, and then saying that we are designating our seafarers as key workers, and then to some as essential workers. There are some challenges in terms of the determination in terms of the key workers or essential workers, the interpretation that are being faced even here on our South African waters, whereby an official from the Department of Health will read it as otherwise, and then somebody from the Department of Home Affairs will read it otherwise. And then that adds to some of the challenges in terms of that interpretation. And then we find that our seafarers are still at home and then having the challenge of going and signing onto their respective contracts. The aim of the resolution was to facilitate crew change, to make them be able to access medical care, and then to at least make sure that the travel during COVID is they can be able to travel during the COVID-19 pandemic. And then this was followed by a joint call from the IMO, the ILO, as well as our partners for seafarers to be protected through vaccination as soon as possible, and then so that we can facilitate their safe movement across borders, and then so that they can be able to provide and make a living for their families as well. South Africa ensured that measures were put in place by June 2020, and then that was about to assist our seafarers traveling on vessels sailing around the South African coastline. And then they were subjected to COVID-19 protocol in terms of 14 days quarantine, in terms of all the COVID-19 tests that they were supposed to take. And then that is still, we are still saying that all South African seafarers, as well as foreign crew is allowed, are permitted to embark and disembark on our 8 commercial ports. Measures were also announced to assist our seafarers who are working on our small vessels, more especially those in the shipping fraternity. The South African government has continued to put measures in place and then ensure that ships are able to conduct crew changes, more especially foreign crew changes. It has got some challenges, as I've indicated, in terms of interpretation from the different port officials, but it is a work in progress. This continued throughout the various lockdown levels, and then we were able to, one of the first countries that allow foreign crew changes on our soils or on our shores. And we were able then to facilitate or to avert that humanitarian crisis that was alluded to by the Secretary General of the IMO. In July 2020, we were able to work closely with the IMO, with the ICS, International Chamber of Shipping, the International Transport Workers Federation, and then we're able to extend the validity of the working certificate in terms of certificates of competency. And then that included medical aids and eyesight for an initial period of 3 months. At the end of July 2020, South Africa, along with other countries, we celebrated the 6th year of the Africa Day of Sea and Oceans with seafarers in the back of our mind, so that at least we can recognize the value that they add into this fraternity, the shipping fraternity. By November 2020, SAMSA had extended its measure to assist all the seafarers sailing in YAS, that is leisure boats, and then we're able to assist them in many ways. There were quite a number of foreign or repatriations that were assisted from SAMSA point of view, thanks to the colleagues at SAMSA and then all the other people from the international diplomacy, more especially from the respective DECO desk, who were able to assist us in being able to avail the list of the repatriation flights so that you can assist all our seafarers from all the countries. In February 2020, we were able to, as South Africa, to be one of the first 55 IMO member states to declare our seafarers as key workers. And then that was a good measure that was able to that one. There were some concerns in terms of saying that we are allowing South Africa to be used as a ground to allow other nations to come into our airports and then leave the virus with us. But then it was about all the balancing the powers in terms of then how then do we ensure that we are active and then we're able to assist our key workers. In the same month, SAMSA, along with the Department of Home Affairs, we joined hands to solve the problems related to renewal of expired passports. And then that was also successfully done between ourselves in cooperation. June 22, 2021, we were able to also online celebrate the Day of the Seafarer. It was about under the theme saying fair future of seafarers. The fair future, it is about many things for them. We are aware that we are getting into the autonomous shipping. We are having some challenges in terms of then the future of the seafarers. That future is just something that you have to acknowledge and then determine in South Africa. As of this month, the South African government having secured enough volumes in terms of the COVID-19 vaccination, we are able to facilitate once again from the Department of Transport as well as SAMSA and our partners, vaccination for all our seafarers who are coming onto our shores. And then that has been successfully done through the missions, the seafarers mission as well. We acknowledge that there's still more work that needs to be done, especially in ensuring that seafarers are recognized fully as essential workers in the country. And then that is work that we are doing in collaboration with our partners. Once again, the South African government is committed to ensuring that our seafarers are able to travel to and from the countries and then different countries to fulfill their contractual obligation. It is all about earning a salary, and then we are able to do that one and then still able to assist. I know that quite a number of seafarers that are sitting at home, they are saying that we're not doing much. They don't know what is the work that is happening behind the scene, but then we do value and then we appreciate the assistance that we have had so far. By saying that, I would then say that I would like to acknowledge all our partners who have joined in the spirit of the IMO case, the mission to the seafarers, the Port Authority, in particular TNPA, the maritime industry at large. And then it was attested earlier this week when one of the sea mission representative, Captain Mr. Mark Klassen, was saying that they were able now at the port from the Port of Richards Bay, they were able to vaccinate foreign crew members. And then we applaud even some of our officials from the SAMSA who are on the ground to make sure that we are able to vaccinate those one. And in particular, there is Mr. Tsepiso Taoana-Mashiloane, who's working together with Ms. Mashudu from the Department of Transport to make sure that we hit to any of the calls and provide necessary assistance to all the seafarers that are stuck anywhere around the world. In saying so, I just want to reflect and say that we need to reflect in some of the advance some of the historical moments and then take them to the future. And then that future, it is the future that we should be able to carry through with our seafarers. It is about us being able to implement the IMO endorsed Cape Town Agreement of 2012, which was taking care of the fishing sector. And then it is about now about us as South Africans, making sure that we have got a fishing fraternity that is able to carry through and then create jobs and be able to make sure that we have got a sustainable oceans economy as well as marine living resources. We would all know that and then remember that in 2012 there was a SAMSA acquired a vessel that was meant to be a dedicated training vessel. That training vessel has reached the end of its life. And then it is up to us as South African government, as all partners from the maritime industry, to make sure that we still continue with that effort to have a secure and a new dedicated training vessel that we can advance and then say that International Maritime Institute, which is SAIMI, is able to carry through the project of the National Cadetship, and then make sure that we improve the conditions of our seafarers. They are able to carry through into the future, and then they are able to meet the demands of the future. What is the demands of those future? It is about us now having a sustainable fishing fraternity as well as a shipping fraternity. As I close, ladies and gentlemen, all the above efforts are indicative of the commitment we at SAMSA, the Department of Transport, as well as the South African government, that we have all in general have towards playing a critical role, if not pioneering the role of placing our seafarers at the forefront of our activities as key workers for the future. Shipping has already been identified as a key element to help the global economic activities, and then more so ensure that we build a sustainable future. The maritime sector has the potential to support an inclusive and resilient economy since it is essential to global trade. These are all in our National Development Plan as well as the latest Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan. It is also predicted that once travel restrictions are uplifted and global trade returns to pre-COVID levels under the new norm, we don't know what is the new norm going to look like, but many countries will use shipping as a way to rebuild their economies. In terms of rebuilding after the pandemic, as it was said by the Secretary General of the IMO, I quote, "Shipping will be at the height of the economic recovery and future sustainable growth, both at sea and at shore." Having said all of the above, it is evident that the future of shipping, it is going to be a very interesting fraternity that we are going to move on. It is about autonomous shipping, It is about bigger mega ships. Are we ready as South Africa in our post to receive those bigger mega ships? It is about green shipping. What does it mean to us? We have got challenges already in terms of climate change. Liquefied natural gas as fuel, it is the future. Solar and wind power for ships, it is the future. We have seen what is happening currently now in terms of the power ships. Shipping has always been an industry that is scrutinized for pollution and energy efficiency. And then we have new technologies that are going to booster and leap us in these new technologies. And then as we do that one, we are now saying that the future of our seafarers is not something that we can ignore. It is something that we need to enhance, and then it is something that we need to develop as a South African government and then all our partners. And we need to make sure that we can aid our seafarers to meet that future, and then we should be ready for that future. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to say that we all must do better to support our brave professionals who continue to deliver global trade. It is crucial the direct involvement of our seafarers in determining their own future themselves was clearly indicated during an IMO survey, and then it was conducted on the social media. During that survey, 46% of the seafarers said that most improvement they want to see in the industry it's in working conditions. I know most of them are living in terrible working conditions. It is part of the MLC 2000 convention that we are party to South Africa. And then 54% of them say that they would want to see a fair future for seafarers as a shared responsibility. And then that shared responsibility, it is what we have to work on as South African government and our maritime partners. We take their views of direct involvement in shaping the future seriously as SAMSA, and then as well as the Department of Transport, as I've indicated before. I want to close by saying that, using the words of Barack Obama, I quote, "We did not come to fear the future. We came here to shape it, and then we'll shape it with our seafarers in mind." Thank you.